Before we begin, take a breath. Feel the air moving in and out. You are not your thoughts, not your past, not even the story that brought you here. If this moment feels quiet, that is not emptiness, it is space. And in that space, you begin to wake up. If you wish to explore this depth of awareness, to live from stillness rather than from noise, subscribe, and let us journey into the now together. Have you ever listened to the silence? Not the absence of noise, but the presence that holds it. It is here now. It has always been here. Beneath the symphony of doing, the rush of becoming, the relentless hum of the mind, there is a stillness. This stillness is not waiting for you to be perfect. It is not waiting for you to solve the puzzle of your life. It is simply waiting for you to notice. It is the background of your existence, the canvas upon which the painting of your life appears and disappears. For a moment, can you feel it? It is not something to achieve. It is something to recognize. It is the feeling of your own presence. The air touching your skin is happening in it. The sound of these words is happening in it. Your very breathing, this simple, miraculous rhythm of in and out, is cradled in this vast, silent awareness. This is the beginning of waking up. It is not a grand explosion of light, but a quiet turning inward. A recognition that what you have been searching for in the world, in others, in future achievements, is the very essence of who you are. The search itself was the noise that prevented you from hearing the silence. The seeking was the movement that distracted you from the stillness. You are not the seeker. You are the space in which all seeking arises and dissolves. The human condition is one of forgetfulness. We forget this inner dimension. We become entranced by the drama of the mind, the play of thoughts and emotions that dance across the screen of consciousness. We believe we are the characters in the play. We suffer when the story is sad, we rejoice when it is happy, but we remain trapped within the narrative, unaware that we are the screen itself, vast, untouched, and forever present. The mind is a magnificent tool, but a tyrannical master. It tells stories. It whispers of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's anxieties. It creates an identity, a small, fragile sense of self called me. This me is a collection of memories, beliefs, and conditioned responses. It is a ghost built from the echoes of the past, forever projecting itself into an imagined future. And we believe this ghost is who we are. We spend our lives polishing it, defending it, trying to make it happy. But how can you make a ghost happy? How can you satisfy something that is made of memory and fear? This is the core of all human suffering. The identification with the voice in the head. This voice is never content. It lives in a state of perpetual lack. It tells you that you need something more to be complete. More money, more love, more recognition, more time. It creates a gap between the now and a future moment when it promises you will finally be at peace. But that moment never arrives, because when the future comes, it arrives as the now. And the mind, addicted to seeking, simply creates a new future to strive for. This is the chase. The endless race away from the only thing that is ever real, this present moment. Happiness is not at the end of that race. Peace is not a reward for a life of struggle. They are here now, hidden within the fabric of this moment, obscured only by the veil of thought. When you believe every thought that arises, you are asleep. You are dreaming a dream of yourself. Awakening is simply this, the recognition that you are the dreamer, not the dream. You are the awareness in which the thought appears. The thought is a cloud passing through the vast sky of your being. Are you the cloud, or are you the sky? The cloud is temporary, changing, and defined by its form. The sky is limitless, unchanging, and allows the cloud to be exactly as it is. You are the sky. The story of me is built on resistance. A subtle and often unconscious no to what is. When you are stuck in traffic, the mind says, I should not be here. This is wrong. That is resistance. When someone says something you dislike, the mind says, they should not have said that. That is resistance. When a feeling of sadness arises, the mind says, I should not feel this way. That is resistance. Every judgment, every complaint, every moment of worry is a form of resistance to the form that this moment is taking. And this resistance is the source of suffering. It creates a friction between your mind and reality. Life is as it is. The traffic is there. The words were spoken. The sadness has arrived. These are facts. The suffering is not in the facts. The suffering is in the story the mind tells about the facts. The story of I don't want this. By resisting the isness of life, the ego strengthens itself. The me feels most alive when it is in conflict, when it is defending its position, when it is proving itself right. It defines itself through its opposition to reality. It needs problems to exist, for without problems, who is the problem solver? Without conflict, who is the victim or the victor? When you are in a state of complaint, you make yourself a victim. When you are angry, you make yourself righteous. The ego loves these roles. They give it a sense of identity, a sense of importance. But it is a false strength, a borrowed power. True power lies not in resisting life, but in aligning with it, in saying a deep, conscious yes to the present moment, no matter its form. This yes is not a passive resignation. It is not saying, I give up. It is a vibrant, intelligent recognition of reality. It is the wisdom to know that this moment is as it is because it cannot be otherwise. All the causes and conditions of the universe have converged to create this exact, unrepeatable reality you are experiencing. Fighting it is like arguing with the tide. It is madness. Surrender is the simple but profound wisdom of yielding to the flow of life instead of opposing it. The only place where you can experience the flow of life is the now. So to surrender is to accept the present moment unconditionally and without reservation. It is to relinquish inner resistance to what is. And what is left when you stop resisting? Peace. A stillness that was always there, underneath the noise of the mind. The ego perceives surrender as weakness. But it is just the opposite. There is great strength in surrender. A strength that is in harmony with the power of life itself. When you surrender, you are no longer drawing your power from the fragile, defended self. You are allowing the intelligence of the universe to flow through you. The mind cannot understand this, because the mind operates through control, through struggle, through opposition. But you are more than your mind. The moment you realize this, you are no longer possessed by it. A new dimension of consciousness opens up. You begin to feel a deep, abiding presence within. This presence is you. Not the you that is a person with a history and a future, but the you that is timeless, formless, and eternal. It is the consciousness that is reading these words, that is feeling the breath in your body. It is the silent witness. Let us explore this identification with thought more deeply. It is a trance, a spell cast upon humanity for millennia. The voice in the head comments, speculates, judges, compares, complains, likes, dislikes, and so on. The voice is not you. It is a conditioned pattern, an accumulation of the past. The thoughts that go through your mind are conditioned by your upbringing, your culture, your family, and your personal history. The voice in your head is a relic, and yet, we give it our entire sense of self. We believe it when it tells us we are not good enough. We believe it when it tells us we are better than others. We believe it when it paints a picture of a terrifying future. We believe it when it replays a painful memory for the 1,000th time. Every time you are completely absorbed in a thought, you are identified with it. You are in the trance. You are not the awareness that is aware of the thought. You have become the thought. This is the state of ordinary human unconsciousness. It is the source of all drama, all conflict, and all self-inflicted pain. To awaken is to break this spell. And the spell is broken the moment you realize that you are not the voice. The moment you become aware of the thought stream without being carried away by it. How does one do this? You do not have to do anything. You're already doing it. The fact that you are hearing these words and understanding them means that the awareness is already present. The key is to turn that awareness back upon itself. To become as interested in the process of thinking as you are in the content of your thoughts. Watch the mind. Listen to the voice in your head without judgment. When you listen, you will find that there is a background of stillness. The thoughts are appearing out of that stillness and dissolving back into it. You are that stillness. When a thought of anxiety arises, can you observe it? Can you feel the energy of it in your body without letting the story of the thought take you over? The thought might be saying, what if this terrible thing happens? The story is in the future. It is not real. But the feeling, the energy of anxiety, is in your body now. Can you simply allow that energy to be there? Without naming it, without judging it, without wishing it would go away. Can you bring a spacious, accepting awareness to the feeling itself? When you do this, something remarkable happens. The energy, which was trapped by the story and the resistance, begins to dissolve. It is transformed by the light of your awareness. This is the alchemy of presence, turning the lead of suffering into the gold of consciousness. The ego loves to create an identity out of suffering. This is the victim story. Look at what happened to me. Look at how I have been wronged. The pain body, as I have called it, is an accumulation of old emotional pain that lives in the energy field of your body and mind. It is a semi-autonomous entity, and it periodically needs to feed. It feeds on experiences that resonate with its own energy. It feeds on more pain. That is why people often unconsciously create or seek out drama in their lives and relationships. The pain body is hungry. When it takes you over, you are not you. You are the pain of the past, looking for more pain in the present. And how does it create more pain? Through thinking. It takes over the voice in your head. The thoughts become deeply negative. Everything is seen through the lens of old emotion. And you, identified with these thoughts, believe them completely. You speak and act from that place of old pain, creating a reaction in others that then seems to justify your feelings. You see, the voice says, I was right to feel this way. The pain body is fed, and it goes dormant for a time, until it is hungry again. To become free of the pain body, you must see it for what it is. You must catch it the moment it awakens from its dormant state. It may be triggered by a casual remark, a thought, or nothing at all. You will feel a wave of negative emotion wash over you. Sadness, anger, despair. At that moment, you have a choice. You can become it, as you have done countless times before. You can let it possess your mind and your words. Or you can notice it. You can say, this is the pain body. You do not have to do anything more. The recognition itself is the beginning of freedom. You bring awareness to the feeling inside you. You do not create a story around it. You do not think about why you are feeling this way, or who is to blame. You simply feel the raw energy of the emotion in your body. You hold it in your awareness. You give it space. You are not the emotion. You are the knowing of the emotion. You are the space for it. The pain body cannot survive in the light of your presence. Its fuel is unconsciousness. Its food is identification. When you withdraw your identification, it can no longer replenish itself. It will still be there for a while, and it may create some turmoil. It may try to trick you back into thinking, back into identifying with it. But if you persist in simply being the aware presence, its energy will gradually diminish. You are no longer feeding the ghost of the past. You are starving it with the light of the now. This is not a battle. You are not fighting your pain. You are simply allowing it to be, and in that allowing, it dissolves. What was once the source of your deepest suffering becomes a doorway into presence. Every time you feel its pull, it is a reminder, a bell of awakening, calling you back to the present moment. Let us now come to the heart of the matter, the shift in consciousness from thought to awareness. For most of your life, your sense of self, your sense of I, has been derived from the contents of your mind. I think, therefore I am, the philosopher said, and this has been the fundamental error of human identity. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. For a moment, can you step back from the stream of thinking and observe it? Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a river. The thoughts and emotions are the water, the leaves, the branches flowing by. You are not in the river. You are the silent, still witness on the bank. From this vantage point, you can see the thoughts come and go. A thought of the past arises. You see it. It floats by. A thought of the future appears. You notice it. It too passes. You realize that the thoughts themselves have no inherent power. They are just fleeting energy forms. Their only power is the power you give them by believing them, by identifying with them, by being swept away into the river. Who is the one who is aware of the thoughts? Who is the one listening to the voice in the head? That is the deeper I. Not the I of the story, the person, but the I that is consciousness itself. Can you find it? You cannot find it in the way you find an object, because it is not an object. It is the very space in which all objects, all thoughts, all sensations appear. To look for it is like trying to see your own eyes with your own eyes. It is the seeing itself. It is the awareness that is reading these words right now. The moment you ask, who am I? And you wait in stillness for an answer, you create a small gap in the stream of thought. In that gap, you can feel your own presence. A sense of aliveness. A sense of being. That is the beginning of the realization. It is not a thought. It is not an idea. It is a felt experience. The experience of your own formless, timeless nature. This is the turning point. This is the moment of grace. When you realize that you are not the thinker, but the awareness. The whole structure of the ego, the false self, begins to crumble. Because the ego is made of thought. It is a product of identification. When you withdraw the light of your consciousness from the thoughts, the ego begins to lose its power. It cannot survive without your belief in it. It may not happen all at once. The old momentum of habitual thinking is strong. The mind will try to pull you back in. It will create a new thought, a more interesting story, a more urgent problem. It will say, this is all well and good, but what about my rent? What about my relationship? What about my health? It will try to convince you that thinking is essential to your survival. And of course, on a practical level, thinking is necessary. To plan your day, to solve a practical problem. This is the mind used as a tool. But when the tool is not in use, you must learn to put it down. If you carried a hammer with you all day, swinging it at everything you saw, people would think you were mad. Yet this is what we do with our minds. We think compulsively and without pause. 80 to 90% of this thinking is not only repetitive and useless, but because of its often negative nature, it is also harmful. It creates the inner noise that cuts you off from the stillness, from the joy and peace that are inherent in your being. The moment of realization is the dawning of the truth that you are the master, and the mind is the servant. You are the consciousness, and the thought is a small ripple on the surface of your vast ocean. This is not something to be understood intellectually. An intellectual understanding is just another thought, another concept. This must be a lived reality. How do you live it? By practicing presence. By bringing your attention again and again to the present moment. By feeling the aliveness in your body. By listening to the silence between sounds. By noticing the space between your thoughts. Each time you do this, you are withdrawing energy from the mind and anchoring yourself more deeply in the reality of the now. The ego will resist this. It will feel like a death, and in a way it is. It is the death of the illusion of who you thought you were. But the death of an illusion is not a real death. It is an awakening into what you truly are. It is the end of suffering. What dies is the false, mind-made self. What is revealed is your eternal nature. This realization often comes not when you are striving for it, but in a moment of surrender. Perhaps you have reached a point of crisis in your life. A great loss, a deep disappointment, a confrontation with your own mortality. At such times, the story of me collapses. The mind, faced with a reality it cannot argue with, becomes still. And in that stillness, a deeper intelligence arises. A peace that you have never known before. A sense of connection to something vast and sacred. This is the grace that can emerge from suffering. When the form of your life dissolves, you have an opportunity to connect with the formless dimension within. The pain cracks the shell of the ego. And through that crack, the light of consciousness can shine. You realize that you are not the shell. You have never been the shell. You are the light. This is not a metaphor. It is the direct experience of your own radiant being. A feeling of profound and simple joy. Not the fleeting happiness that depends on external conditions, but the joy of being itself. The joy that arises from deep within, from your connection to the source of all life. This is the peace that surpasses all understanding. The mind cannot grasp it. It is beyond thought. It is the reality of who you are. And so, after this recognition, what follows is not a struggle, but a letting go. A deep and gentle surrender to the isness of life. The fight is over. You are no longer at war with the present moment. You begin to live in a state of allowance. You allow this moment to be exactly as it is. You allow people to be as they are. You allow your thoughts and feelings to be as they are. This is not passivity. It is the highest form of intelligent action. When you act from a place of presence and acceptance, your actions are infused with a power and a wisdom that are not of the mind. You are no longer reacting from the conditioned patterns of the past. You are responding to the needs of the moment from a place of deep stillness. Your life is no longer a problem to be solved. It is a mystery to be lived. There is a new quality to your experience. A sense of spaciousness. Even in the midst of activity, there is an underlying stillness. Even in the midst of noise, there is an inner silence. You are in the world, but not of it. You are no longer lost in the drama, because you have found the dimension within yourself that is untouched by any drama. This is presence. It is the simple, profound state of being aware of your own consciousness. How do you practice this? You begin with your senses. Feel the air on your skin. Listen to the sounds around you without labeling them. Just the raw sensation of sound. Look at a flower, a tree, the sky, without the mind's commentary. Just see. Feel the aliveness in your own body. Can you feel the subtle energy field that pervades your hands, your feet, your entire body? That is your connection to life. That is the intelligence that is breathing your body, that is beating your heart. You don't have to do any of that. It is being done for you. Your body is a portal into the dimension of being. When your attention is fully in the body, you are fully in the present moment. The mind's incessant chatter subsides. You are anchored in the now. From this place, anxiety cannot survive. Worry needs a future. Regret needs a past. In the timeless now, they have no power. Surrender means giving up the need to understand everything. The mind wants to put life in a box. It wants to label it, to categorize it, to know what is going to happen next. But life is vast, mysterious, and ultimately unknowable. To surrender is to become comfortable with not knowing. To live in a state of open, curious attention. To meet each moment without the baggage of the past or the expectations of the future. It is to trust that there is a deeper intelligence at work. An intelligence that you are a part of. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. You trust the process. You provide the right conditions, water, sunlight, and you allow life to unfold. Your life is the same. Your job is not to control it, but to align with it, to provide the condition of presence, of surrender, and to allow the deeper purpose of your life to unfold through you. This requires courage. The courage to let go of the known. The courage to step out of the familiar prison of your own mind. The ego will tell you that this is dangerous. It will tell you that you will lose yourself. But you cannot lose what is real. You can only lose your illusions. You can only lose your suffering. This peace is not an emotional high. It is not a state of blissful detachment from the world. It is a deep, quiet okayness with what is. It is the end of the inner war. When you're sitting in your room, can you just sit? Without needing to do anything, without waiting for the next thing? Can you feel the simple joy of being conscious? When you are walking, can you just walk? Can you feel the contact of your feet on the ground, the movement of your body, the air you are moving through? Every moment is an opportunity to practice this. Every breath is an invitation to come back to the present. The out-breath is a letting go, a release of tension, of thought. The in-breath is a receiving, a fresh intake of life. Breathing is your anchor to the now. Whenever you feel lost in thought, consumed by emotion, simply bring your attention to your breath. Feel the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. One conscious breath is enough to create a space, a gap in the stream of thinking. In that space, you find yourself again. You find the stillness, the peace, the presence that you are. This is not a complex practice. It is the simplest thing in the world. It is a returning to your natural state. The state you were in before the mind took over and told you who you were. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a being to be. And the being is here now in this moment. It is all there is. So, how do you live this in your daily life? How do you bring this stillness into a world of chaos and demand? You do not need to retreat to a mountaintop. You do not need to abandon your responsibilities. The world is the perfect place to practice. Every person you meet, every situation you encounter, is an opportunity to be present. When you are speaking with someone, can you truly listen? Can you listen with your whole being, without the voice in your head rehearsing what you are going to say next? Can you give the other person the space of your presence? In that space, a true connection can happen. Beyond the words, beyond the personalities. A communion of being. When you are performing a routine task, washing the dishes, making your bed, driving your car, can you give it your full attention? Can you feel the texture of the water, the shape of the plates, the movement of your hands? The ego will tell you that these tasks are boring, that they are a means to an end. But in presence, there is no means to an end. The doing itself becomes imbued with a sense of aliveness, of peace. The sacred is not in a special place. It is in every moment, waiting to be discovered through your attention. Do not seek to change the world. Seek to change your state of consciousness. When your consciousness changes, the world you experience changes. Because the world you experience is a reflection of your inner state. When you are in a state of resistance and negativity, you perceive a world of problems and conflict. You attract and create situations that mirror your inner turmoil. When you live in a state of surrender and presence, you begin to perceive the inherent goodness and intelligence in life. You see the beauty that was always there, but that you were too preoccupied with your thoughts to notice. You begin to act from a place of love and compassion, not because you are trying to be a good person, but because love and compassion are the natural expression of your true nature, of your connection to the whole. Your life then becomes a blessing to the world. You are not trying to do good. You are simply being yourself, and the good flows through you. There will still be challenges. Life will continue to present you with situations that test your presence. A difficult person, an unexpected loss, a physical pain. These are not punishments. They are your greatest teachers. They show you where you are still identified with the mind, where you are still holding on to resistance. When a challenge arises, see if you can welcome it. See if you can say yes to it. Not a yes to the story of how terrible it is, but a yes to the reality of the moment. The situation is here. The pain is here. The fear is here. Can you allow it to be? Can you bring the light of your non-judgmental awareness to it? In that moment of acceptance, you are no longer a victim. You are no longer trapped in reaction. You find a deep strength within you. A strength that is not of the ego, but of consciousness itself. You realize that you are larger than any situation, larger than any emotion, larger than any thought. You are the space in which it is all happening. And in that space, there is peace. There is freedom. This is not a destination. It is not a future state to be attained. It is a continuous unfolding, a moment-by-moment practice of returning to the breath, returning to the body, returning to the silence. There is nothing you need to add to yourself to be whole. You're already whole. You're already complete. The spiritual journey is not a journey of becoming. It is a journey of unbecoming, of letting go of all the things you are not, letting go of the stories, the beliefs, the identities that obscure the light of your true self. What is left when you let go of all that? Just this moment, this presence, this simple, profound, and joyful reality of being. Do not make a goal out of it. The moment you make enlightenment a future goal, you have created a new source of seeking and suffering. The ego loves goals. It can project itself into a future where it is enlightened. But enlightenment is not in the future. It is here and now. It is in the recognition of your own timeless being. You are already that which you are seeking. You are already home. You have just forgotten. And every moment of presence is a moment of remembering. A remembering of the peace that was never lost. The peace that finds you when you finally stop chasing. And now, the words fade, but the silence remains. If you felt the stillness within this message, stay. Subscribe, not to follow, but to remember, again and again, that presence is always here, waiting beneath every thought. The true teaching is not in the words you just heard, but in the space between them.